Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. I have one more Christmas card that I made for, at least for tonight. I'm not done for all of my Christmas cards, but I'm done for tonight. It's getting late. So this is a 3D card and it's a Hexagon pop-up box. Looks like that. And it does fold flat. You can fold it this way, but you can also fold it down this way, which makes it a little bit smaller. And it folds completely flat, and you can make whatever scene you want on there, and then see how pretty that it's finished on the top. There are dies that make there, you can get a die set to make this, but it's actually pretty easy to make without a die. So I'm going to show you how to make it with just a hexagon nesting die. So I just used a hexagon nesting die. This is the largest of the Crafter's Companion hexagon nesting dies. It's about 4 inches from here to here, and that determines the size of your hexagon. So let me show you how it's made. Okay, so to make your card, you need 2 strips of card that are it's 7 1/4 by the one that I showed you was 2 1/2. This one I made 2 inches high, and then, or 2 1/4, because then I wanted to make these square. So this is 2 1/4, and then another 2 1/4. So you score at 2 1/4, 5 1/2, 6 3/4, and then it's 7 1/4. And the reason this size depends on the size of your hexagon. So my hexagon is 4 inches this way. Each of these sides is 2 1/4 inches. That's why that's 2 1/4 inches. If your hexagon is smaller or bigger, whatever size that side is how big that piece has to be between the scores. And you need 3 plus the glue tab, okay? And then we're going to glue these together because I've got 2 of these. And then when you glue them together, that makes your hexagon base. So let me go ahead and glue these together. And then I've got matte layers cut, and I used paper from the Crafter's Companion 'Twas the Night Before Christmas paper pad, I believe. But you just want to get these even top and bottom and right up to that edge. And then we're going to put glue on that other tab. And then it should fold flat. So when you're gluing it together, make sure that it folds flat at this point. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to go ahead and put my matte layers on. These are just 2 1/4 inch squares, and I've got 6 of them. If you have a patterned paper, that has a scene, make sure you get it right side up and in the right orientation so that they flow. But this is just kind of a plaid, so it's not really gonna matter. Okay, so there's your base. Now this is where your hexagons come in. So you need to cut 2 with those hexagon nesting dies, and then score them from corner to corner like this. Okay, and they're going to go together here, and then these are going to go inside there. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and I cut a hexagon out of the matte paper, and I'm going to mat the top of it. So because these are going to glue together and go down inside, it's these outside 2 that are going to get matted like that. These have to hook onto here, but obviously if you just set it in there, it's going to fall down. So I've got 2 little pieces of card that are 2 inches by 1, and I just scored right down the middle. And you want these to be shorter than the length of this piece right here. Okay, not a lot shorter, but just a little bit. And these are going to glue onto here and then onto there. Okay, so we'll glue on this one first. So I'm going to glue it onto that side of my hexagon right up against the edge with the score line. Just right in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And this is what's going to connect our hexagon and create our little top piece. Okay. So right up to the edge. And then it looks like that. Okay. Now we're going to connect that onto there so that it's even, it's straight, it's lined up, you know, so that that hexagon is lined up right there. Okay. Get it lined up. And then you're going to do the same thing with this one, but on the back, exactly opposite. Okay, so right like that. And again, get it right in the middle, like so. Now you're going to fold these down and glue them together, but that's where my Christmas tree is going to mount. So before I glue those together, I got to put my Christmas tree together. So I cut my Christmas tree. This is my favorite Christmas tree die. It's from Honeybee Stamps. It's called Grandma's Christmas Tree, and it's a die, a set of stencils, and an embossing folder. And I just cut it out of mirror card and then embossed it. And I cut it out of the green mirror card, and then I backed it with some black. One, to give it more stability, and two, because it's not 100% symmetrical, so when you put them back to back, you can kind of see a little bit. And the back side of this mirror card is like a cardboardy, you know, like brown, and so it didn't look very good. So I'm going to put these together, but before I glue them together, I want to take a piece of cardstock, and you're going to glue it in here, because this is what's going to glue down in there. Okay, so you want it kind of as high, you know, high up to give it sturdiness. And this is like 3 layers of black cardstock, and I'm going to put it up there, and then I'm going to trim this off because I don't want it, it has to be shorter than this. And actually it is, so perfect. So I'm going to glue this in as high as I can get it without it showing. And I want to make sure that it's straight, because otherwise my tree is going to stand up crooked. Okay, now I'm going to glue my tree back to back. Now you could just leave it like this, but then it doesn't look good from the back. So you have to find something symmetrical to put back to back. Otherwise it's one-sided, and because it's a three-dimensional thing, it doesn't look good if you just leave one side plain. Or I don't think so. I guess you could like put, you know, just a piece of white card with a sentiment or something on the back if you didn't want to do a tree, another tree. That would work. Okay, let me get it all together. And now I'm going to glue these two pieces together, but I got to put this on the inside of there. And you don't want it to stick down below this piece, so I am going to have to trim that off just a little bit. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this whole piece. And I'm going to put glue on the black tab of my tree. And then I'm going to put this in the middle there. And then I'm going to put it together like that. And you can fold it flat this way to get it done. And let me make sure it's somewhat straight. There we go. Okay. And you're done. And there's my tree. Looks like that. Folds flat this way, but you can also fold it down that way, which makes it a little bit smaller. But it stands up just like that. Very nice. Not pretty? Very cool. And then you can add a sentiment on the front here, or on the top here on your tree or whatever. And you can put anything you want on there on the scene on the top. So when I finished this card, well, I can show it to you on this one. So when I finished this card, I just thought it looked very plain with nothing here in the front, just kind of plain here. And so I played around with it, and I ended up, on this one, I ended up adding a row of poinsettias to the front and the back. It still folds flat, or mostly flat, but and pops up. But you can see I added these little pop-up elements, and I'll show you how to do that. Just, I thought it added something to the card. I just thought it looked kind of plain without it. At the same time, on this one, I had some little flowers that I was going to put on there, and I wasn't sure I really liked those with the paper. I thought it was okay, but between the teal and the paper, I just thought the poinsettias just didn't go as well as they do with the green and the red on that one. So I put the poinsettias on that one. On this one, I'm going to put little presents, and I'll show you how I did it. So I took I took a little strip of, this is gold card, and it's a 1/2 inch wide, and it's 2 1/4 inches long. And I scored every 1/2 inch, so 1/2 inch, 1, 1 1/2, and 2. And I'm just gonna fold it up, and I did 4 of these. Okay, and then you're gonna put glue on your little tab. And you're just going to make a little square, and you want it to fold flat. Okay, so I've got 4 of those in the gold. Then I took this kind of light tealy shimmer card, and this one is 3 1/2 inches by 1 inch. And I scored every 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. And I'm going to do the same thing with that. And I'm going to make presents. And the reason I did these different sizes is because I want my present boxes to be different sizes. Okay, and I've got 2 of those now. So 4 gold, 2 teal. Okay. Now we're going to take our little tree, and I'm going to add my gold boxes here, and you want them just, you're going to glue them, hold it right, you're going to glue them against the back of the tree and against here. So glue here, here, and just glue it like that. Okay, and we're going to put gold one there, teal one in the middle, and a gold one on that side. And you can, they don't have to be like exactly next to each other or anything. I'm just trying to create the look of presents, okay, of gifts under the tree. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue here, put that on. I'm just going to hold that for a second and see if I can get it to grab. And then same with this one and the next one. I'm just going to hold those on there. Now what you can do is just fold it up and hold it this way and let that glue grab, because you want to make sure it does fold flat. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You don't have to do it on both sides, but I wanted it to look nice from both sides, so I am going to do this. And then I just took some little bows that I had, and I'm just going to put those on the front of my sort of light teal package, just for a little bit of added decoration. And there we go. And so you can now compare what it looked like before to what it looks like now with our added packages. I think it looks, I really like it a lot better. And if you don't like the packages, you could do flowers or, you know, I don't know, some sort of a little die cut, a rocking horse, or I don't know, a Santa or something. But anyway, I thought it just really added a lot to it. So there's my flowers, and there's my Christmas tree with poinsettias. I like them both. I really like the poinsettias on this one because of the paper and the colors. I did not like the poinsettias so much on this one, so I think I like the flowers better on that one. But I do like them much better now. Not quite so plain. So thanks for watching.